Welcome back to episode 2, where I am talking all about my trip to Africa, where I spent 4 weeks volunteering. This episode is going to be all about the cost and the logistics. I was very particular and very type A when it came to planning this trip. I've never done anything like this before, and I wanted to make sure I got it right. And I wrote down everything. I just want to be as fully transparent as I can with you guys. It is going to be on the more expensive side. For the specific programs and the time of the year that I went for 4 weeks was $2,890. It could range, it could be more, it could be less, depending on the time of year that you go, and it also obviously depends on how long you go for. I then took that number and divided it into how many weeks I was spending, and I realized I would be spending $722.50 a week. That covers food, accommodation, and a lifetime worth of memories working hands-on with animals. In terms of flights, I did this all a little bit weird, only because I was doing this with my partner Joe, who is English, and we wanted to incorporate a trip back to England so he could see his family and friends. So my flights round trip from San Francisco to London was $758. My round trip flight from London to Cape Town comes to be $820. Neither of the programs I was doing were based in Cape Town. That was just the easiest major airport to fly to. So then getting from Cape Town to a closer city to where these projects were, first one in Namibia, Windhoek, came to be $137. Now, to then get from one project to the next, you have to cover this on your own. I didn't realize this when we first put the deposit down. That was $310. There's no flight from Hoedsport back to Cape Town, which is then where we then go back to England and then back to San Francisco, because Joe and I road tripped that last week. Now, all of those flights combined comes to be a grand total per person $2,025. If we subtract the cost of San Francisco to London and just do the flights within Africa and London to Africa, it comes to be $1,267. All of the flights just within Africa from project to project comes to be $447. Now, with all of that combined, project and flights included, it comes to be $4,915 for 4 weeks. Fully know as well that taking off 4 weeks is a lot to do, especially if you work a full-time 9-to-5 job. I was asking everybody I met how they're doing something like this. I was getting to know them on a personal level, which then meant understanding what kinds of jobs they do, where they're at in their lives, all the questions. We met people from all around the world, from different countries, from different backgrounds, all for very different reasons for wanting to be out there. We met people out there that were only spending 2 weeks out there. Now, we also met people that were spending 6 months out there volunteering. Some people were just able to save up enough money for 2 weeks and enough days off for 2 weeks. Some people, their parents forced them to go out there. Some people were on their gap year, and some people were in between jobs trying to find themselves. All very valid reasons to go. This can be done however you want to do it, for as long or as little as you want to do it for. I have always wanted to do something like this myself, but the final push for me actually doing something like this was watching a TikTok of somebody on a safari. I'm gonna wrap this up here when it comes to logistics and cost breakdown, but there is way more to come. I go into way more detail on my podcast called Guess Where I Am. You can find us streaming everywhere and anywhere on all the platforms, even on social media, where I'm talking about this trip in every little detail. I will see you on the next mini-series episode where I talk about the day-to-day schedule.